Hey guys, John over at Flow. Today in part 3 of our gravel wheel design journey, we're going to talk about understanding tire height and width. So what we do know when it comes to rolling resistance is tires have been studied extensively. There's a number of people that have looked at tires and rolling resistance. Tom Anholt is one of those guys. He's got a blog called Blather About Bikes, and he studies rolling resistance on rollers and has put together a ton of information for different tires. What we know that is not extensively studied is how does a rim affect rolling resistance? And that's one of the things that we really wanted to start looking at. If we were able to determine some characteristics that affected rolling resistance from a rim, something like internal rim width, could we design a wheel that lowered that overall rolling resistance? And including that, something we could add to that would be, if we knew more information about a tire and we knew our internal rim width, could we predict rolling resistance with a given tire? So the first part of this journey was to have a thorough understanding of how a tire, how its width and height is affected on different rims. So what we did is we took a number of different rims and we wanted to see if we could model how the tire's width and height would be affected with an equation. So we took the model of the tire, we took the brand of the tire, we took the specific size, so if it's a 23, 25, or 28 mil tire, we took the pressure, and we took the internal rim width as a measurement for the measurements that we took. So what we did is we took our Truth, our pressure sensor that we've been using, and we inflated a single tire over a number of different pressures on 4 different rim widths, so internal rim widths. And then what we did is we graphed all of that data and we tried to come up with a result. And what we found was actually very interesting. So as you increase your internal rim width of a rim, so if you go from an internal rim width, and internal rim width, for those that don't know, is the distance between the 2 hooks on your rim. So if you look inside, in between the brake tracks, the measurement of both hooks, that's called the internal rim width. And so what we found was, as you increase that, let's say you start down at 13 millimeters, which would be a very old school rim with a small internal, and then go all the way up to 23 millimeters, what we were able to determine is there is a linear equation that works for pretty much all tires. And so if we know your internal rim width of your rim, we know the tire model that you have, and we know your pressure, we can predict how wide that tire will be in any given rim. Of any internal rim width. So that was a really cool study. We also measured the height and how the height was affected. And what we found with the height was kind of surprised us, is the height pretty much stays consistent. And that you'll get a slight variation. And obviously if you were to expand the tire to its full extent, then you would greatly reduce that. But in a range from about 13 millimeters up to 23, the tire height pretty much stays the same. So this, like I say, is pretty interesting information. It's going to give us a linear model to look at how we can predict rolling resistance with tires and certain rims. We're excited about that. And we're going to have a much larger blog article come out that's actually going to share a lot of this data with you guys. And if you have a specific tire model and a specific rim size, you'll be able to predict your tire width. This is helpful for a number of reasons, but the biggest reason it's helpful is we get a lot of questions about what size tires can I install on your rims that fit on my bike? And so if you're able to take a measurement of your front fork or your rear triangle, you'll be able to determine any tire, any size that you want to be able to put on your bike. I hope this helps. Stay tuned next week where we learn more about our Flow gravel wheel design journey.